Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be an unboxing, and as you can see, it's a knife from Jack Knives. Now, I normally do my unboxings in front of the camera, but there is a snowstorm happening, and I don't have a great place to do them inside, so I'm going to do it this way here. Now, one thing I wanted to say is that this knife came to me very quickly. It was shipped on the 4th, and this is the 6th that I'm filming this. So they must have got it in the mail quick on the 4th there. And I'm really excited to get it because this is the new version of the Sharpshooter. So I'm going to be using the Sharpshooter Jack, the original Sharpshooter Jack, to open it. And this was the first model from Jack Knives. And I think, you know, I had seen some prototypes that Ben had brought to one of the Great Eastern Cutlery rendezvous. But when I got this knife, it really cemented to me, you know, the idea that Ben does a great job of honoring the traditional pattern, in this case a gun stock, but you know, really making it his own and a great modern interpretation. I really like the gun stock. I carry it pretty frequently. You can see it's got, you know, a good number of scratches and such on it. So I'm excited for the second version. There's some updates, so we'll try to highlight those in this video, and then I'll definitely do a full review also. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and select all so you know when I post new videos. You can check out my social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook also, and my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like these and knife-related topics. But let's go ahead and open it. This setup that I have here, which is pretty new, is also not super conducive to unboxings because it is not a massive area, but do the best we can here. There's usually a packing slip. So I'm actually going to open it off screen here, get rid of the packing slip, and show you that, as usual, here is your box. These come in a very nice matte box with a nice shiny kind of metallic embossed logo there. Modern interpretation, timeless design. You've got that up on the top also. Jack Knives on the side. This is the Sharpshooter Jack in jig titanium, and might get a little background noise of the washing machine going. I can't really help it. And here's a write-up that I always recommend if you haven't, you know, read this. Just pause the video and read it over. You know, it's a great background on Ben and what the company is. So I'm going to open this up. I was about to say I've gotten better at opening these, but for a long time I really struggled with that. And here is the new art. So the original Sharpshooter Jack had a kind of traditional, you know, like Western style look to it, to the art. This one is more modern. You can see that this looks like more of a modern warfighter sharpshooter with his, you know, long bipoded rifle, you know, with a detachable magazine. Looks like it's probably intended to be a, you know, of course it's not because of all the, you know, trademark or whatever probably, but looks similar to a Barrett style rifle. And then you've got the Camelback, another brand, probably not literally a Camelback, whatever, and his walkie-talkie, all that good stuff, the vest. So kind of an operator rather than a cowboy sharpshooter. So a nice metal tube. Here is the POG, so you can see that art there. Really cool art. I really like it. It's cool to see that kind of update from the original to a little bit more of a modern sharpshooter. And then inside here is the knife in a nice, very bright orange microfiber cloth. I don't actually use these cloths a lot, but I think it's a nice addition. I use chamois, or however you say it, chamois, I don't know how you say it, but it's nice to have these because it is nice to be able to wipe the knife off and clean it and stuff like that. And then there are 2 stickers inside. Really like the change to 2 stickers because I put one on my safe and I like this. This looks like a the insignia of a, you know, special forces group or something. I think that's what the intention is there. So that's really cool. And then you get to keep one, you know, for later, or use both. You know, I tend to keep one, but this has a slip. This slip, you know, I might be wrong. I've said this before and been wrong, but this slip looks a little different. Like maybe it's a new style or something. I use the same slip for really all of my Jack Wolf knives when I carry them. This one here, I don't know which model this came with, but you can see the pressing, stamping, whatever, might be a little deeper on this one. Stitching looks maybe a little different, and the leather maybe a little different. I might be imagining that. I don't know. I'm sure Ben can confirm or deny. But it looks a little different to me. Almost like more, I don't know, supple leather or something like that. But let's open this thing up. So I do have a full review on the original Sharpshooter, and I will do a full review on this. It is a gun stock pattern, and here it is. Now I'm gonna move this extremely bright orange microfiber cloth so you can get a little bit better color here in the video. So for the last several releases, Ben has asked which version, you know, I was most interested in, and he didn't on this one. I just got a notification, but I was very happy with it. He said he thought I was due for some jig titanium, and I said, you know me well, I can never really say no to that. I love jig titanium. I'm really happy that they're doing it. And I have other knives like the Ohio River Jack and the Lake Champlain Barlow from Traditional Pocket Knives that also have jig titanium. But I really like how Jack Wolf Knives does it. So let's take a look at this. So I mentioned there are some differences. Now Ben had mentioned that the bolster was longer. Oh yeah, and it is. At first I couldn't quite tell. Now I would say, unlike the second version of the laid back Jack, which do I have it here, and I'll talk more about this in the full review, but unlike the second version of the laid back Jack, this is not really a Barlow bolster. So I do appreciate that, because I don't know I've ever heard of a gun stock Barlow. It'd be interesting. I'm not saying it would be a bad thing, but it's not something I've heard of. So that's one change, a little bit longer bolster. It has the 3 lines that Ben is adding to most of the new models. So for example, this is the second version of the Vampire Jack. It has those 3 lines versus the 1 line on the original. And then another thing you can probably tell is that it has this long pull. Now one thing I hadn't noticed until I saw this, I believe that this must be because it is the integral titanium version, but it almost has more similar to a traditional knife's pin setup. So of course it screws, but you have the pivot, you have a spring, and then you have one down here at the butt, which I don't know that any other Jack Wolf knives has had that. I only have the, again, laid back Jack, and it is down here. It's just a little bit of a different location, I guess. And this does have a bottom bolster or a butt bolster, however you want to call it, whereas the laid back Jack does not. So that's one thing that I noticed here, but I think I got distracted and didn't talk about the long pull as much as I meant to. So the original had a nail nick. I like the nail nick. You can get a good bite on it. But let's see how this long, well, actually one thing it looks like, at least on mine, it's very slight, but the original, the corner here of the clip point might sit a little higher. But, oh yeah, very easy to get a hold on that. Ben also mentioned, I believe, that this is intended to have a stronger pull. It does feel like a nice strong pull. Man, I hope that washer isn't making it so you can't hear that very well. The action is very nice. The talk, of course the walk is nice, but hear that? Really nice. Nicely centered. maybe ever so slightly towards this side, but I mean just like a hair. No gaps, beautifully put together. This is going to be a nice thin knife. I don't know, is there much of a difference? Maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit of a difference there. I might be imagining that also. Hard to tell, but it seems like it might be a little thinner. Let's see about the finish on the blade. So I guess this is as much a comparison video as it is an unboxing. A little bit less of like a belt satin. It might be a little bit more polished. It's probably hard to see that in the video, but it might be a little more polished, and then it has a little bit of a deeper sharpening choil also, which is something that Ben has been adding to or updating on the new versions of these knives also. I'm not a huge sharpening choil person, but if you're gonna have it, I guess you might as well go for it. Let's see how this feels in the hand in this all titanium. Still feels great. I love how the original Sharpshooter Jack felt. My two fingers here, my index and middle finger, fit perfectly in this upper area, and then ring and pinky finger fit perfectly in the lower area. Great full forefinger grip. You can definitely, do really most, if not everything you need to with a pocket knife with the Sharpshooter Jack, with a knife this size, I guess is what I'm saying. Another difference, of course, is they're using S90V now instead of M390. Let me look at the swedges. I think the swedge might be... Now these are, somewhat hand ground, so the swedging can be different from knife to knife, but I do think it's a little smaller, the swedge, at least here, than on the original, but that's very slight. I keep looking at it and not having it in good focus for you, so sorry about that, dear viewer. But it is an unboxing. I'm kind of figuring it all out as I go here. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Really excited about this one. Thing is, it just makes it, these updated versions just makes it harder for me to choose which to carry. I carry the Jack Wolf knives a lot. One thing I actually kind of noticed this year, looking back, I was going through my user knives to oil them and stuff for the new year, and I realized a lot of my GEC users have still had the oil from the last time, not from the beginning of 2023, but I hadn't carried several of them in a while, and I carry the Jack Wolf knives pretty frequently. So these updated versions just makes it a little harder to choose which one to carry. But yeah, really, really beautiful knife. Looking forward to carrying this one. I'm gonna put it right in my pocket. Probably gonna use the pocket slip. Ah, man, I feel like it would look cool with some snail trails and stuff, but I'm gonna put it right to use. I want to open the long pull with my nail. My nails are really short, well, pretty short right now. Yeah, you can get in there very nicely. So, really cool knife. Definitely going to do a full review. I want to show you one more thing. I feel like the clip point is even slightly different. Maybe not. This one has been sharpened several times, so it's somewhat hard to tell. I'll bet they're pretty much the same. It's probably the same, design, and I just sharpened a little bit away from the original. But beautiful knife. Really happy about this one, really excited to put it to use. These are coming out Friday, January 19th, I believe. Yeah, the 19th is a Friday, and they come out on Fridays. So watch for your favorite dealer. I'll put the dealers in the description, the link to the dealers. Thanks again to Ben for sending this along. I love getting to check these out. Like I said, I've been really carrying these Jack Wolf knives a lot and enjoying them. So it's a real pleasure for me, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If so, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave any comments below, and last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.